Peter, you famously had like a real change in lifestyle a few years ago, moved from Connecticut down to Puerto Rico. I think you had a new baby as well. I just wondered, like, how did that come about? How has that changed you as a person? And how is your life different now than it was, say, 5 years ago?
Well, I moved down to Puerto Rico full time about 3 years ago. January 2017 was when I first started. So I guess this is now my fourth year as Puerto Rican resident. And yeah, I mean, there was a lot of factors that motivated that. I mean, the two most important being taxes and the weather, because I was living up in New England, in Connecticut, and I still like it up there, and I still spend time there. I'm going to be spending the summer there. That's why I'm flying back up to spend the summer in my house in Connecticut. So, I've been splitting my time between Connecticut and Puerto Rico. I've been spending more time in Puerto Rico. This is where I live. This is where my younger children go to school. This is where my businesses are headquartered. Euro Pacific Asset Management, Euro Pacific Bank are two businesses that are now based in Puerto Rico, and I employ Puerto Ricans to help me run these businesses. So I'm, Puerto Rican, but the tax benefits are tremendous. My marginal tax rate is 4% here versus about 50% in Connecticut between state and federal taxes.
Wow.
Paying 4%. My capital gains tax rate is 0%. When I was in Connecticut, it was better than 30% between the federal and state government. So a very, very substantial decline in my tax rate, which means I have a lot more money to do things for myself. I have more money to spend on myself. I have more money to give to charities, and a lot more Puerto Rican charities now that I'm part of this community. But it gives my businesses a competitive edge, I think, against businesses that are in much higher tax regimes. And there are a lot of other businesses too that enjoy low taxes. They just don't operate in the United States. There's tax havens all over the world. There's tax havens all over the Caribbean. This is the only tax haven really that Americans can take advantage of. But the rest of the world has all sorts of tax havens that they can choose from. Americans only really have one.
And have you changed as a person since living in Puerto Rico?
Have I changed?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I think maybe I have a tan longer, But no, I mean, I like the lifestyle down here. I mean, I enjoy Puerto Rico as a place to live. I mean, I like tropical islands. I like the ocean, and I live on the beach and on a golf course. It's kind of like the place that I would have contemplated retiring to. So now I'm already here. So when I retire, I don't have to go anywhere. I could just stay where I am. So I just enjoyed it. I mean, I would certainly encourage other people to look at Puerto Rico. And it's not just Americans. There are people from the UK that are here. I mean, anybody can enjoy the tax benefits. You don't have to be an American. I mean, they're particularly good for Americans because we don't have other choices. People from the UK, there's a whole world of tax havens that they can go to. But I think Puerto Rico is a nice place to live. So I think it should be on everybody's radar. But particularly if you're operating a business in the United States, or, a lot of people now are realizing they can work from home. I mean, that's part of the COVID-19 experience, is a lot of people that were going to an office and commuting into a city now realize that they can work from home. Well, if you can work from home, you can work from home in Puerto Rico. So I think more people now might realize that, hey, as long as I'm working from home, why don't I just work from Puerto Rico? Because now I won't have to pay all these taxes. So maybe more people will start checking out Puerto Rico as a viable alternative, especially if Donald Trump loses this next election and Biden wins, and we get the Democrats that also take over the Senate. We could get some very high increases in marginal tax rates. I mean, and so the higher the tax rates go, the more money you save by moving to Puerto Rico. I mean, based on the current tax situation, you double your money. You double your income by moving to Puerto Rico. But if they raise taxes, it may be that going to Puerto Rico triples your income. So, the higher the tax rates go in the U.S., the more money you save by moving here. And so there could be a big rush of people in 2021 if we get some big tax hikes, which we obviously are going to get. I mean, look, the government is spending twice what it collects in taxes. What does that tell you? We're not paying enough taxes. I mean, we're paying now through inflation, but obviously the direction of taxes is going to be up. And obviously, when it comes to the upper income people, there's no political resistance, right? If you're in the 1%, prepared to be taxed to death, right? Because the 99% don't give a damn about you. They're going to vote to raise your taxes. So there's very little political backlash to raising taxes on the rich. And a lot of people are going to get ensnared in that net, because the top 1% doesn't mean you're rich, especially if you're living in places like New York and California, and you can get into the top 1% with two people working. And if you have two people working and you're in the top 1% because you have two people's paycheck contributing, you're not rich. You know, you're not poor, but you're certainly not rich, and you probably can't afford to have your taxes doubled. So Puerto Rico is your way out, your ticket to freedom.